Hey, this is your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you the new episode of The Shy, Season 7, Episode 2, The Fallout. And I heard that Victor, Luke James, will not be in he will not be in Season 8. So he may die this season. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you are new here, welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. We do reviews here, okay? Okay. And if you're returning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All right now. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment, and we will begin. All right. So, Tiff is pregnant. No, Tiff tells Alicia she's pregnant. And Alicia is ecstatic. She is over the moon. And Alicia convinces Tiffany to move in with her so she can control her and make sure she eating right and all that other stuff. Basically, she can control her. Okay, she want to run her life. Okay, that's what she wanted to move in for. She ain't say that to her, but yeah, that's what she wanted to move in for. Anyway, Nuck wants Pastor Ezekiel to basically ask God for forgiveness for all the pain he's caused and all the other stuff. Baby, you are not Catholic. Okay, you cannot run to the priest and everything like that and confess and everything will be forgiven. Pastor Ezekiel said that it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Okay, it don't work like that. He said, I can guide you, but you got to do the work, boo. You got to do the work. It don't work like that. Don't work like that. Okay, you gotta do some work. You gotta do some work. So he said you gotta change your behavior, basically. So Nuck was like, okay, well, thank you for your time. And so he was just like, what else can you do? He was like, you know what kind of work I do? You know what kind of work I do? I can't be soft. I can't be soft. And so he said when he takes someone's life, that he basically goes somewhere in his mind. And Pastor Ezekiel like, well, where do you go? And he said, I don't know, but I'm not in my right mind and my body. He said, and I can't lose that. And so Pastor Ezekiel said, if you want to get closer to God, you may have to. Point blank, period, okay? If you want to get closer to God, you may have to, okay? All right. So Damien and Emmett go to get their hair cut. Damien was excited because, he's sharing his barber. Emmett's sharing his barber with him. And so then he notices that he has on black nail polish. Emmett noticed that Damien has on black nail polish. And he was just like, he said, what's going on with that nail polish? And he said, Damien said, I kind of like it. My son wore black nail polish, I think about 2-3 years ago. Yeah, I think he was 15 or something like that. He wore the black nail polish for quite a while. And then he stopped wearing it. He just went through a phase where he wore black nail polish. He wanted to twist in his hair, okay? Then he grew up, he stopped doing that. So I don't think it's a big deal. But anyway, Damien was like, I kind of like it. And Emmett was like, you like girls, right? And he said, yeah, of course. He said, but I want to keep an open mind. So he may be a little fluid. Damien may be a little fluid. Or he may be, keeping his options open for the other side. Because, they don't stray away from the the LBGTQ things, so It, he may come out gay. It's fine, you know. It happens. So we'll see. Damien's cute to me, but I like him. So then Emmett was like, yeah, I guess. He said, but I just think men wearing nail polish is kind of gay. Damien was like, well, I think having babies with 3 different women is 4 now. Well, 3 different women is kind of straight. It's 4 now, honey. Because he had 3 baby mamas before. Now he got 4 baby mamas because Keisha's pregnant, okay? And and then Damon was like, yeah, and that pinky ring on your hand is a little suspect too. Emma was like, anyway, so Tiff tells Keisha that she's pregnant. She said, don't tell anybody. She was like, can I tell Emmett? She said, yeah, you can tell Emmett, you know. So Lene meets Dom for the first time when Dom moves into her house. But what I wanted to know is, I thought Jamal was homeless. He was homeless last season. Okay. So where did they get this house from? I think the house is Lene's house because Lene, Kevin and Keisha's mama moved, and she riding in the Winnebago with the brat. Yeah, she riding in the Winnebago with the brat. So I think she left the house to her. And so I guess Jamal moved in the house. And then now Dom is moving in the house too. Okay. So, because I was just like, he was homeless last season. But last season, Lene was at, Lene was living with, what's her name's mama? Keisha and Kevin's mama. So maybe she left the house to her, and so Jamal moved in, and Dom's moving in too. All right. So yeah. So Pola and Lene is so in my Nene voice, so rude, so nasty, so nasty, so rude. So rude, so nasty there. That's my Nene voice, okay? And so Jamal come in, and so Lene was like, we need to talk. And Don was like, yeah, we need to talk too. So Jamal's in the hot seat right now. I love his deep voice though. I do love his deep voice. And he was like, cause I asked her to. He got some deep voice. I love it. So anyway, Bakari asked Nuck, can he sleep on his couch because he ain't got nowhere else to live. He could live over there with Dom and Lene and Jamal. But anyway, but Lene and Bakari broke up. Never mind. Never mind. Didn't get it, okay? Had a little bat in the cave. Okay. So what I say? Yeah. So Nuck was like, yeah, you gotta sleep on the couch, He said okay. Anyway, Jake and the First Lady break up. Because let me tell you why. Okay, so Jake was smashing some other trick. Okay. And so the trick saw his phone, and it came up First Lady. And so she was just like, First Lady of what? And he was like, we don't go together. I ain't got to tell you nothing. And so I don't know how she assumed it was the First Lady of this church, Pastor Ezekiel Church. Okay, yeah, but whatever the case may be, she found out somehow that is the First Lady of Pastor Ezekiel's church. And so she put it all on the internet. Okay. Now Pastor Ezekiel is pissed. Tatiana, Pastor Ezekiel's wife, is pissed. Big Papa is pissed, but Jake is proud. Jake, he is cheesing like, see, I'm the man. I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. Yeah. So he proud, but everybody else pissed. Okay, everybody else pissed. And so so Pastor Ezekiel was yelling at Tatiana. He said they're gonna call you Tatiana. That hole over there, Tiana. Okay. So Charles was like, well, we can get past it. We can get past it. He said, let me preach this Sunday. And that way you don't even have to bother with, commenting on this post and everything like that. So, Pastor Ezekiel reluctantly said yes, So, Charles is already geeked about taking over his church. Okay, I know that's his point, is to take over his church. But he gonna do it, slowly but surely. Because I think Pastor Ezekiel's days are numbered for some reason. I really do, for some reason. Anyway, so he'll preach that the next Sunday. All right, so Marcus and Tierra break up as well. We got people breaking up everywhere. They break up because Tierra wants a baby, and he don't want no baby no more. He don't want no baby. He's still raising Gemma. That's what he said. So Shad comes back to Alicia's house, because that's where he's staying right now. With a bunch of Whole Foods bags, okay? And then he asked Alicia why she drinking beet juice, and she was like, it's good for the baby. And he was like, his face was like, and he was like, you pregnant? And she said, I'm in my second spring. I don't know. What is a second spring? Somebody get in the comments. Tell me what a second spring is, because I have no idea. Just say you like 60 or something. Okay, 60 or 70. I don't know what a second spring is. But she said, no, I'm not pregnant, but she is. And Tiffany walked in and she with some chips. Okay, eating on some chips. Tiffany walked in, and so Alicia pulled them chips out of her hand and handed her a carrot. She said, this little boy that you carrying is going to inherit everything that I own. So you need to take care of him. So she was like, well, what is a girl? Then she said, well, I hope she inherits my beauty. What kind of shit is that? But she said that, I got all kinds of stuff going on here. But she said that, I want you to become the owner of the cigar lounge and the barbershop. Okay, she gonna take over the cigar lounge and the barbershop. We'll see what that holds. Okay, so she was just like, okay. So anyway, Emmett has these babies in the kitchen because he got to babysit today. They running around in the kitchen. Somebody gonna get hurt. Okay, somebody gonna get burned. Somebody gonna do something. The big boy, EJ, he playing on the tablet. He ain't even watching nothing. But he kind of chunky anyway, so he ain't running either. But somebody gonna get hurt, and that was little Ronnie. He broke his arm. So Ronnie broke his arm. Nuck. So they go to the hospital. Nuck was like, he said, I need to know if my son gonna be safe in your care. Nuck, come here, baby. What you gonna do? Because wasn't you the one trick-or-treating and Ronnie was acting the fool because they ain't had the candy that he wanted, so you was gonna buy him all the candy. Okay, so you ain't a disciplinarian either. So I don't know what you planning on doing with this. Okay, I don't know what you planning on doing with this. Okay, you ain't a good role model or safe either. Okay, so it is what it is. Accidents happen. So anyway, so the doctor gonna leave talking about I'm gonna send in the nurse to set his arm. Excuse me. Come here, doctor. When do nurses set arms? I don't remember no nurse set an arm. Okay, the doctor sets the arm, the nurse wraps the arm. We don't set no damn arms. We don't set no damn arms. I don't even know what you're talking about. Now, if you set the arm and then we wrap it, okay, or ortho-check wrap it, but no, we don't set no arms. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, that was just here and there. So Bakari and Shad is waiting downstairs for Alicia. So Alicia comes. She said, "Hello, handsome." And so both of them say hello. Hey. And so Alicia was like, "I was talking to Bakari." She said, "Oh, Shad, I was talking to Bakari." And so Bakari over there like, yeah, I got your girl. I got your girl. So, Bakari hands her manuscript and she says she gonna read it in the tub tonight. All right now, okay then. Okay, so Bakari goes to Smokey's and he meets up with Damien. He was like, "Yeah, you Emmett's brother, right?" He said, "Yeah." And so he said, "Well, what's up with the nails?" And so he was just like, "I kind of like him." He's like, "Well, good for you. And so then he said, "Well, the blunts, Damien was like, the blunts are bad for you. You should try some edibles." And he was like, "No, edibles make me crazy and stuff like that." He said, "You just ain't had the right ones. I get you some." So I think they're going to be good friends. Tiff asked Victor to help her with the cigar lounge. Okay. So whatever. Okay. So, we go back to the hospital. So Nuck and Emmett are talking, and so Emmett, in this whole conversation, he gonna say that Tiff is pregnant. So you're not supposed to say nothing, but when Keisha told you that Tiff was pregnant, she didn't say that it was a secret. Okay, so but you're not supposed to tell anybody, but it is what it is. Darnell is going to this men's meeting that's taking place at the cigar lounge since Victor is managing the cigar lounge, because that's what Tiff said he was managing, and he already assumed that he was managing. So they at the cigar lounge. That's where it's taking place now. And Jada wants to have a ladies meeting too, because we have a little sister circle or whatever, because girls need some relief, and just needs to talk it out too. Darnell putting on this 19, nope, it ain't even this 2003 Bluetooth. That Bluetooth come all way over here. Yeah, he putting on that. I was like, you need to come into the 2020s, okay? No, that Bluetooth. Anyway, so Big Papa tells Ebony that Zay was unalived, and she wants to leave. She wants to move to Arkansas with her grandmama and take her baby, and she want to move out of Chicago. So that's what she gonna do. So Zay gone, Ebony gone. We're gonna figure out who else gonna be leaving in a minute. So Tiff um, tells Alicia she hired Victor to help manage the lounge, and then Alicia was like, "You one day, then you've already given a man the power." And Tiffany was like, "Listen, you gave me a job. Just let me do it." She was just like, "Because I need help," and he was willing to help. So he you gave me a job, so let me do it. So then we go to Dom and Jamal and Lene. So Dom cooks for Lene and Jamal. Honey, she had it all right, honey. She had some Brussels sprouts. She had some garlic bread. She has some other stuff, honey, or some salmon. Oh yeah, yeah, it was all that. So when Lene tasted it, she was like, "Oh, you can stay. You can stay. I don't blame her, honey. You can stay." Um, yeah. So let me see. So um, Pastor Ezekiel's talking to Nuck again, and so Pastor Ezekiel asked Nuck, "Does the people that you unalived haunt you?" And so Nuck was like, "Yeah, sometimes." And he said, "Well, what do you do?" He said, "Well, I smoke. I smoke a lot." And he said, "Well, does this make it go away?" He said, "No, but it makes it harder for me to hear them." He said, cause I just took a guy out for disrespecting me, and now I found out that his girl is pregnant." And he said, "Well, how did that make you feel?" He was like, "It made me feel like a monster." And so he was like, and then Pastor Ezekiel was like, "I know that feeling." And he was like, "Well, you supposed to be a man of God and everything like that." But Pastor Ezekiel was like, um, "I'm a child of God, but I've been seduced by money, power, and lust, but I was over here talking about money, power, respect is the key to life. Money, power, respect is the key to life. Money, power." Junior Mafia. Locked. Money, power, respect is the key to life. Money, power, respect. Okay. Yeah, so Pastor Ezekiel said, "Listen, we pastors are the worst among you, okay, because they have been through all of the things that haunt you, like money, power, respect, and all that, and lust, and all that other stuff." He said, "We have been through that, and that's why we have an intimate relationship with that, and that's why we know what we need to do to get you to remove you out of that." So he ain't lying when he say the pastors are worst among you, because we see that many times. Pastors, deacons, priests, yeah, and most of them fall short of the glory of God, and still venture into the sin. Even though they're preaching against it, they still venture into the sin. All right, and we ain't gonna call no names. We ain't gonna call no names. Okay, but most of them venture into the sinful part, where if it's money, okay, or power or lust. Okay, we got some ones that go far as lust. Okay, and then some of them go other ways, just far as money. So yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna say nothing, but they powerful. They We ain't gonna mention no names. T.T. James, allegedly. You know, we don't know, honey. Allegedly, honey. All the pastors, as far as I'm concerned, all of them, and priests, Okay, we get off that topic, but allegedly, Creflo, allegedly, Jamal Bryant, allegedly D.D. Jakes. What's the other one? He passed away though. The New Birth guy. He passed away. I forgot his name. Allegedly, he had some boys that was trying to sue him. Dang, I forgot his name. I really forgot his name, but yeah, he passed away. So we'll leave him alone. But yeah, yeah. Um, what it's a couple white ones too. But we're gonna leave that alone. All right, we're gonna move it on. So the men's meeting is at the cigar lounge since Victor is managing it. So Shy is saying that it's getting a little crowded at Alicia's house because Tiff moved in. I'm quite sure Alicia has about 8 or 10 bedrooms. Why is it getting crowded? Because because Tiff moved in. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. Jamal said the same with me too. Now I can understand it's getting a little crowded at his house. Okay, he ain't got too many bedrooms. Okay, but Alicia, no, she got too many. She got way too many bedrooms for it to be crowded. Anyway, so then Darnell and Emmett, because they was like, Dom moved in. He was like, yeah. And then they over here reminiscing about how they smashed Dom. Okay. And they was like, and everybody was like, what you laughing about? He was like, you got to ask her. You got to ask her. Don't be putting her business out in the street. So then the ladies' sister circle has their first meeting. And so Tierra tells the group that her and Marcus broke up because she wants to have kids. Keisha was like, you can come get some of ours, okay, because we got too many. And so Tierra was like, I want the experience to being pregnant. So we're going to figure out where she going to get pregnant by. We don't know yet. We don't know. Anyway, Damien gives Bakari some edibles, and Bakari to feel like he dying, his heart is racing and stuff like that. And he was just like, you ain't gonna die, you ain't gonna die. And so Nuck goes to Tiff at the cigar bar and tell her that he not gonna take any more money from her. And then he helps her open this door that she couldn't open, Victor couldn't open, but I guess Nuck knows how to open it because Duda told him how to open it. So he opens the door. They still didn't see, they didn't show what was in the door, but she opens the door. Maisha says she going to LA with Kevin. Big Papa's upset. He was like, what am I gonna do without you? And so Maisha said, miss me. And so Maisha was like, you thinking, you didn't think we were going to get back together. And he was like, no, we can't do that to Kevin. So, cause what's her name? Cause Maisha was like, yeah, cause I'm not Gemma. And Big Papa was like, yeah, and I'm not Jake, because Jake and Gemma had a relationship with Kevin, and then Jake stole Gemma from Kevin, and then Kevin was in a relationship with Maisha. Then they broke up. Then Big Papa started dating Maisha. Then they broke up, and now Kevin and Maisha is dating again. And so You know, so they all whatever the case may be, they all, you know, did what they needed to do with each other. Okay, so now Maisha is leaving the show as well because she going to LA with Kevin because Kevin already left the show, so she going to LA with Kevin. So Zay's gone and Ebony gone and Maisha's going. So we'll see who else gonna leave. All right, but that's the end of the episode. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe, and comment to my channel. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.